Welcome back to Simple-ESL, and today we are testing the highest level of English, C2. This is the level of fluency and flexibility needed to perform to a near native control. So, are you ready for the challenge to see if you are at the highest level of English? Let's begin. Now, in order to do this, you're going to need to have fluency and be able to command complex English through a high level of comprehension. You'll need good level of vocabulary, grammar, critical reasoning for these tasks. So in this test, we'll push you to your limits with English. We're not just checking if you understand, we're checking if you have a mastery of the language. If you would like more practice, you can go to our QR code here to all my links where you have access to our worksheets on our Patreon page. But if you would like practice with a tutor, why not also try Preply? Using the code here, you'll get 30% off your trial lesson with an experienced language tutor. Now, CEFR. If you got to this stage, you must probably know what this stands for. It's the Common European Framework of Reference and is used around the world to measure English ability. It has levels from beginner to advanced. So that is A0, which is complete beginners, to the C2 level we're testing today, which is the expert level. This system helps you and your teachers to understand and plan lessons and realize what level you are at English. Now at C2, this is a level needed for university study, professional communication, and full participation in English speaking life. You should be able to understand virtually everything you hear or read. You should be able to summarize information coherently, express ideas spontaneously, precisely, and fluently, handle abstract and subtle meaning, and use English flexibly in academic, professional, and social settings. And here are some examples of the language. As C2, you use layered language like this, and it should be fluent. Let's test how comfortable you are working at this level. But first, here are some of the phrases. While the conclusion is valid, methodology warrants further scrutiny. It was not until the third revision that the argument became truly compelling. His response was both measured and meticulously articulated. Had I been aware of the implications, I might have acted differently. The ambiguity of the statement leaves it open to multiple interpretations. Now, if you're comfortable with this language and you understand it, good news, you're most probably at a C2 level. But we're going to do a test and see how we do. I would like us to listen and pick the best answer. Why did the campaign fail? Contrary to the initial projections, the company failed to gain traction, likely due to poor timing and a lack of clear messaging. 3, 2, 1. It had poor timing and unclear messaging. This is the correct answer. So if you've understood that sentence and what I was saying, this is the correct answer. We have a reading task here. I would like you to read the passage and answer the questions. What is the main issue being debated? What do advocates of open development planning support? What concerns do critics express? What tone does the writer use? And what might be implied about future regulation? Hopefully you've had a chance to read that passage. We'll read it together now. Scholars have long debated the ethical implications of artificial intelligence. While some advocate for open development, others have warned without regulation, its expansion may exacerbate existing inequalities. The issue being debated, artificial intelligence and whether it's ethical to use it. What do advocates of open development support? They're supporting artificial intelligence and its use. And what are the concerns the critics express? They have concerns of the ethical implications and that it may make inequalities worse, so we need regulation put in place. What tone does the writer use? This is a very professional, serious tone. what might be implied about future regulation? So I'd ask you, what would you do to control AI? So regulation could be put in place. This could be legal with laws. This could be rules put in place, especially if we're talking about scholars, we're talking about education and schools. So perhaps there's going to be some sort of check to make sure that people aren't going to use AI to cheat at doing their studies. We're going to attempt some grammar and vocabulary exercises now, so I would like us to take a look and choose the correct word or phrase. Rarely such a complex issue been addressed so clearly. 3, 2, 1. Rarely has such a complex issue been addressed so clearly. Let's try another one. We'll proceed. We receive explicit confirmation. 3, 2, 1. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for explicit information, so provided that we receive explicit confirmation, then we can continue. The professor's comments were insightful. 3, 2, 1. The best option here, profoundly insightful. Prohibitively would be something to stop you. So we wouldn't say prohibitively. Implicitly, it could be implicitly insightful, but it doesn't really work here. Profoundly, it's something that has made a big difference in your life. It is profound. So professor's comments were profoundly insightful. This works best in this sentence. Not only late, but he also forgot the documents. Not only was he late, but he also forgot the documents. We wouldn't say he was. Not only he was late, that's incorrect. We need to put that the other way around. And not only did he late, it would be was he late. This is the correct grammar for this situation. She speaks with the confidence, comes from experience. Where does the confidence come from? Speaks of the confidence that comes from experience. We could say which comes from experience, but that comes from experience is better and more fluent, I think, in this situation. We certainly wouldn't say whom. Now, sentence rewriting. I'd like us to rewrite each sentence without changing its meaning. They postponed the meeting due to the CEO's absence. The beginning of the sentence, the CEO's absence led to the meeting being postponed. So this is a causative structure using passive form, and this is how we would rewrite this sentence. Let's try another one. You must submit this form by Monday, she told us. She told us that we must submit the form by Monday. We're using reported speech, and we need to use the correct verb tense and structure. So we're going to use she told us that we must submit the form by Monday. I regret not applying for the scholarship. So we're going to rewrite this and say I wish. But we don't want to change the meaning, so what do we wish? I wish I had applied for the scholarship. So we're using, this is the correct use of the third conditional to express regret. Despite the heavy workload, he remained optimistic. We're going to start with even though. How can we write this sentence? 3, 2, 1. Even though he had a heavy workload, he remained optimistic. Maintains meaning, this sentence, with a formal cohesive structure. So this is a good way of writing this if we're going to start with even though. The book was too complex for them to understand. It was so, is how we will start. It was so complex. It was so complex a book that they couldn't understand it. So we've inverted so plus adjective, a, and a noun. And this is the formal advanced structure of this. It was so complex a book that they couldn't understand it. No sooner had he left them, the phone rang. So each sentence contains advanced grammar or style mistakes. What was the mistake in this sentence? No sooner had he left them, the phone rang. No sooner had he left them, the phone rang. So inversion is required after no sooner. So the auxiliary verb comes before the subject, which is the phone. She's one of those people who always finds fault. See the mistake here? She is one of those people who always find fault. So the relative clause, who always find fault, refers to people, which is plural. Let's try one more. Had I knew about the policy, I would have complied. Had I knew? Had I known about the policy, I would have complied. So this is the correct past perfect form, had I known. And this is needed for the conditional structure. He explained me the concept thoroughly. He explained me the concept thoroughly. He explained the concept to me. Explain is a verb that takes the direct object and an indirect object with to. So you explain something to someone. He explained the concept, the thing, to me, the person, someone, thoroughly. The decision, it seems, was made hastily. What mistake is here? Can we see a mistake? There is no mistake. This sentence is grammatically and stylistically correct as written, so there's no correction needed. It uses the correct structure. The decision, it seems, was made hastily. We have a bit of a writing task, and this is going to go onto a second page. I would like you to write a short argumentative, that's the tone, paragraph, about 8 or 10 sentences, in using the following prompt. Should governments regulate the use of artificial intelligence in creative industries, music, art, and writing? Why or why not? You need to include one conditional sentence, one opinion phrase, one passive structure, must be formal tone, and use linking phrases. Here is my example. So you can see the opinion phrases, in my view, and ultimately. If creators feel their work is undervalued, innovation may decline. Passive structures, we've used clear framework that should be established. We've used a formal tone, using words like furthermore, moreover, and ultimately. And linking phrases, it is essential that. So why not try and write your own paragraph? It should look something similar to this if you're at a C2 level. And how did you do? Count up how many you got correct, how easy you found this lesson. If you're constantly scoring high, you're working at a very advanced level, so congratulations. And I would recommend practicing your conversational English, talking to tutors, maybe signing up to something like Preply or Cambly, where you can talk to tutors and practice your conversational English. Now, if you've scored low, that's no problem. Review the last playlist, the C1 materials, the B2 materials, and practice this. Now, what are the key takeaways? Well, firstly, well done with the great work today. Whether you're refining your skills or aiming for full fluency, we've got lessons to support your journey. So we can work on our C2 conversation and writing lessons by going to the link below in the QR code. We can also practice the courses that we have available on Patreon. That, once again, is at the code below. And also subscribe so you get more C2 level practice. We'll have lots of different courses, lots of different lessons coming out on here. And once again, if you want some tutoring, some of the tutoring sites I recommend are on the page now. You can also take our free quiz worksheet that is on our Patreon page and is available for free, and this will help you test your level. But I think we'll finish there for the day. Well done for making it to the C2 level test, and hopefully you find the playlist useful.